to the Wisdumb Podcast. I am your host, Cierra. And today I have an interesting crew with me, my friends. I have my husband, Rashad. I have my dear friend, Isaac. One of my longest friends, Nicolle. And my girl down there, Dejah.
Hola.
Today we're going to talk about having friends, maintaining friends, making friends in our 20s. And why is it so hard? What do we do? And let's just have a real conversation. Let's keep it real with the fam.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't think of a name for this episode. This was really quick.
Keeping it real with the fam.
For myself, I'll be Ronald McDonald.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay. We'll have to edit that part out. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So I will say for me, it's because... Nope, let's not even start with me. How do y'all make friends? Let's start there.
How do I make friends? Now? I don't know. I don't know how to make friends anymore. I think when I was younger, I used to be much more eager to like put myself out there and be like, oh my God, hi, how are you? And like try. But I think in these last few years, being around a lot of bitter people made me not be so
open,
vibrant.
Yeah.
I feel like I was around a lot of people for a long time that took away my vibrancy, and I'm starting to find that back to now I can be like, hi, and like when I go to an event, try and like put myself out there and get to know people.
But you're good with what you got.
I am good with what I got,
she said no new friends, no new friends.
Yeah, but also like you need new friends to grow because sometimes you can definitely outgrow your friends.
Yeah, I would say that because a lot of friends, which we don't realize, are trauma bonds.
Yeah. Meaning
when you are no longer in that position of need because I'm not going through, and not trauma, which means like, oh, it's super huge. But we relate to a piece that's like anchoring us to a hurt place.
Yeah.
And when you're no longer there or you are healing from there, you realize they don't serve a purpose for that. Oh, yeah. And so that friend, no, it's not like even bad blood. It's just like we don't have anything to relate to now that that's out the picture. And a lot of friendships, I realized, were built on that. Whether it was gossiping, whether it was like, oh, we had this in common, but I don't go to the club anymore. So we ain't got that in common. What do we do for each other now? And meaningful friendships are what I thrive on right now. Yeah. Like, I don't have time for no goofy friends. Not like I don't appreciate their goofiness, but if you're not adding anything to my life, what's the point? That's how I think of it, but I'm weird, so.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I've outgrown like gossipy relationships, like people that only want to talk to you to like talk about other people. Mostly just because I've come to find out that those type of people are usually talking about you too.
Absolutely. And I cut off the friends who only call me when they want to vent about themselves. It's never the friends who call and be like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Or you never get the text, like, you good? Just checking in. But anytime they call, it's like, let me tell you about me. And it's like, well, hi. Did you know that I just lost my grandma yesterday? Oh, okay. No, never mind. So it's cool. And those type of friendships, I realized, are like parasitic in a way, like just draining me. What about for the men? I feel like men are more loyal than women.
So I'm gonna talk as the introvert. As the introvert, meeting new people was very, very stressful. Meeting new people, putting yourself out there.
Social anxiety kind of thing?
Yeah, 100%. Particularly for the rejection of friendship. Okay. It's like, hey, are you looking for a friend? No? Okay, cool. Okay.
Just kidding, bye.
I'm going to go back into my show.
You know. There was a video I saw, someone breaking this down on how to make friends as an adult. And they related it to being back in school, being back in high school, middle school, elementary school. And if you're around the same people every single day, you just by osmosis, you connect to the people that you connect to.
Absolutely.
So as an adult, you know, if you're struggling with making friends, go somewhere. Go somewhere. Go somewhere that you enjoy. All right. I don't mean go to the gym and hop on the Stairmaster and try to make conversation with the person next to you.
So what do you think of dinner?
Right.
Right. No. Go to the if you're the introvert. Go to the
I feel like it's more common for adults, especially let me not say especially men, but I feel like it's more common for us to make acquaintances.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily call you a friend, but I can hold a conversation with you because I work with you, or I see you every single day because we go to the same place, or as adults at this age, realistically speaking, where else do we go aside from work? Because
that's what I was going to ask. It's like, what to you all now is a definition of a friend?
And the people that I've known for years, and like I'm not exactly.
But does longevity define a friend?
See, I don't not necessarily, but I will say all of my friends, if not all of my close personal like best friends, I've known for like years. Like years. Like I don't like a friend. I would consider you guys friends because I see you probably twice a month.
Right.
Probably more, but realistically, I see you twice a month. I talk to each of you at least once a week.
Okay.
Realistically, more.
Yeah.
And when there's a major life event, I see you're there or you're invited there. I consider that a friendship. Everything else is either acquaintances or just like a space level. Like you can go to a mutual friend birthday party, but you're not going drinking together after the mutual friend's birthday party. I would say we would all go drinking together after the mutual friend's birthday
I saw this one thing. Somebody was like, you're really friends when you're like in a group chat with friends, but you got a separate chat with your friends.
you gotta whisper. You gotta whisper outside the group chat.
You looking out.
No, she did.
I was like,
she did.
That's facts. So let's see, like, now that we're 28, 26, and we're in our flow of life, for us, we're married, and we don't have a lot of married friends. We have two, and they're married together.
We got two total friends, and they're married to each other.
See, that's
not two pairs.
For me. That's the opposite for me.
All
my friends are generally married.
I would say, I'm one of the only single people out of most of my friend groups that are either in serious relationships, married, or at least are in relationships and have kids together.
Yeah. I wonder why it's so hard then for married friends to find married friends. Because it's always that situation. It's easy because you usually are friends when they transition into marriage or transition into a long-term relationship.
Right. They're like friendship through proximity.
Right. But for some friends, they can understand the transition because they get that life requires you in different ways. So I may not need you the same way that I needed you in that last season I was in, but you're still my friend. And they can still play that role really well.
Right.
But there are some friends who are still too needy and don't get the transition of priority. And it usually ends a friendship, which I've had that happen where it's like, oh, why can't you be here when I call you? And I'm like, because my kid's coughing in the bed right now. My husband need me to rub his back. Like, I got stuff that I prioritize, and that's just that.
But that's hard, though, is because a lot of friends... Or I don't want to say a lot of friends, but a lot of people that may not be in the same space of their life as you may not have that understanding of like, I am not your priority right now, and that's okay. I think, especially as we get older, a lot of our friendships turn into more of support and less of like physical quality time.
Just because right now.
And I got to a point in my life where I decided protecting my peace was more important than, to me, it was more important than the turmoil that was coming from trying to hold on to that friendship that didn't understand where I was in life. And that didn't mean that I didn't value that person because I genuinely missed them. But it was causing me more stress and anxiety trying to figure out how I can stretch myself super thin than just realizing like, hey, sometimes we have to cut ties because I can't afford to be the person you need me to be. And that's not fair to you, but it's also not fair to me to do this to myself. And I got to that point where I was just tired of draining myself to the point of like when I got home or when I'm with my husband, it's like, yo, gee, like everywhere I go, people asking something of me that I just can't give because they don't understand. versus having friends who have the kid. Even having kids is huge. Because if they don't have, like, I don't even need you to be married. Do you have a kid? Because a lot of people, especially our age, have kids, but some of them don't. And there's a select few that can understand the responsibility that comes from being a parent and also maintaining friendships. But for the kids, the people who just living life out there wilding and they can still get up,
whatever.
They can do whatever. We look crazy to them, or we're selfish, or we're throwing off the vibe because we ain't matching where they're at in life. And it's like, all right, bet.
Yeah, it's
or you have those friends that like invite you to brunch and be like, bring the kids. You know how much of a hassle it is to bring the fucking kids to brunch? I can't have fun at brunch if I bring the kids, girl.
With the got 360. Why would I?
What that mean?
I hate it.
I want to be lit when I come back home from brunch.
I hate it.
Now, mind you, I want to go to brunch, but I don't want to bring my kids.
I'm not going
and
to.
if you tell me the day before, I don't have childcare, and so therefore I will not be in attendance.
Yeah, and they knew what they were doing when they say bring the kids. Like, nigga, you know I ain't bringing my kids.
I'll go a step further. Like,
so you can give my kids French fries.
No,
and
you saying that it's like, I appreciate the invite, but you know that you only invited me to say that you invited me.
Yeah.
Knowing damn well there's just no way in the world I'm finna pack these 3 kids up and bring them with it. Because what? I'm finna sit there and watch y'all have fun while I watch my kids?
Yeah. And it's purely they just don't understand. They just don't know. They just
And
those
they-
who do not have kids, they just do not know. Because to them, it's as simple as just pick up and just pick up, bring your kids.
So Isaac, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Because I know you came into the role.
Yes, I came in on easy mode. My baby was 3 years old whenever I got her.
Where you at now?
Baby, thank you so much.
Where you at?
She is 6 years old.
Oh my god.
She is 6 years old. I've been there for half her life
Absolutely.
now. I'm very, very happy and I'm
Okay,
for the
but
other
back to what I was about to ask though. How was we love your baby. That's our niece. We love your baby. But my question to you is, how was that transition from being single, no responsibility, and you also stepped into that role of being a father at the age of 3 as well. But how was that for you? Yeah. She was 3.
Who's counting?
How was that transition? How did that affect friendships for you?
You know, my friends were understanding.
Okay.
My friends, they were happy for me. They were happy. Like, oh, Isaac's got a girlfriend. Oh, Isaac's got somebody. Let Isaac do his thing.
Nah, I talked to Ben about you, bro. Like you heard Isaac?
Yeah, man. My friends are really cool about it. My friends are really cool.
Okay.
And they understood. They understood. It's like, hey, listen, there's a child involved, and I told them ahead of time. You know, I told them like, hey, listen, I got a girl. She has a child. I have a, at the time, early into the relationship, I had not
one more time. I'm finna go outside.
Hold on, you saying that. Friends are also bullies, y'all.
No, this friend is a bully, y'all.
Nah, we be bullying each other.
For the last 10 years, I just want to let you guys know I've been terrorized by that man.
If you have been terrorized by Rashad, you may be entitled to compensation.
Bro, let me tell you.
I'm not paying you nothing.
Or what's the Mean Girls reference? If you have been victimized by Rashad in there, say I.
Just know that in the future, I'm still going to victimize you. I'm blaming the victim at this point. It's probably something good.
Okay.
That's gaslighting, friend.
Early into
But that made me.
This is shifting gears a little bit. Before stepping into that relationship with someone with a child, did you ask for advice from like whether a father figure or anything of like, hey, what's the necessary?
I did not ask because my dad was already an example. My sister is my half sister, and my, I guess not stepbrother because my dad and his ex-wife aren't still together, but he claims his stepson, his son, as his son, and that was even though I didn't talk to him much because I'm a quiet person. He was my older brother for I guess for all intents and purposes. So no, it wasn't weird because I had the constant story, the constant tale of like, hey, yeah, no, I raised your sister, and I raised her son, Manju. Shout out to Manju. My dad raised, and Sharice, he raised all of those kids, even though Sharice and Manju were not his.
Yeah.
They're
his.
They're not his blood.
Yeah.
They are his. They are his children, and they still claim him.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to hear that. I got to hear him on the phone with them. I got to talk to Sharice and Manju. So really stepping in for Jew was no big deal. That was
that we were accustomed to already.
Exactly. And it helped that I like Dejah and Juju. I like the both of them.
You kind of like that. It works out.
Kind of plays a factor into it.
So
I can entirely agree with you because my stepfather, shout out brother with questions, played the example for us as well. I was 5 when my mom started dating Jimmy.
Say one more time.
You got something to say to me? You can.
Party foul.
Right.
So
They'll be like, pause.
I was 5, my brother was 3, and Dad stepped into it with the S on his chest, puffed out all the way, and just 10 toes down, stepped into the role. So that was just something that we just grew up knowing. And so when Cierra and I finally reconnected, I already knew she had a daughter, even though she tried to hide it from me. That's a story in and of itself, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the comments, I'll tell you all about it.
Oh my gosh, you're so dramatic.
Engagement.
Let's go. That's what I'm saying. He gets it.
But now you gotta be in the comments though.
I'll be in the comments.
He's gonna be there.
I'm in it because I'm fully in. Because you put me in it.
You put yourself in it.
Anyways, so I knew she had a daughter, but I was honestly, I was so first and foremost, I'm finna connect with her. Let me meet Jordan because like I said,
wait. How far did you go? How far did you go? Because you sure enough knew. So I have a daughter, and so we were friends, and so he was so trying to impress Cierra, and so trying to.
Okay, so let me stop you.
So he said, "Don't put me on the spot. I'm trying to act fly now."
I don't know this part of the story. Tell me.
It's audience here. What you doing right now? So anyway, you know what I'm saying? I just stepped into it. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever. No.
I had the blue flag on me and everything.
He had the blue flag, but he sure enough knew that he needed to not only show this woman that he loved that he could be a dad, but he was that person to step in the role. So
I got something on my nail. I don't even remember.
So as one of their dates, he invited me and my daughter to Disney with her and her daughter. So
that wasn't a date, by the way.
That wasn't a date?
No, because at that moment, we were not a thing at all. I was actually upset at that time. So
really?
I think that was his way of trying to be like, hey, don't forget I still exist. And I was like, of course I'm going to take a free Disney ticket.
Dang, that's crazy.
It worked.
It worked. Because as someone
me right now.
as someone who saw their friend go from that, not that dude who's just being single to worried, listen, I need to impress this girl. I need to show her.
He had a plan.
He had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And poor, not Juju, but Juju now, her favorite is Rashad because he set it up that day that I'm going to impress this girl by showing her that I can give my goddaughter candy.
See, that's sweet. That ain't work.
Therefore, I am a sweet, loving guy.
No.
But when you give the child sweets, that backfires on you.
No, it actually in the defense.
Wait. So now that we're talking about it, hold on, because y'all just made me think of something. How do you guys? No. It's a little sidebar. How do you guys feel about opposite sex friendships? What are the boundaries that are set?
So I'm going to speak on that because Rashad is my oldest friend. We've been friends since we were 3 years old.
Okay.
Majority of my close friendships are with men.
Yeah, mine too. So
I have had both pleasant and unpleasant experiences with women who have dated those people. So me personally, I don't fuck my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I take that serious. And if I start fucking you, I will no longer call you my friend because that's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't.
It crosses the platonic.
That's not even.
Yes. Now don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like, some of my friends are attractive, and that's fine. But like, I'm not gonna cross that line.
See, I value my friends more than I value a sexual relationship. Right. So most of my really close friends are males, and I had brothers growing up. And my dad is a girl dad, but like treats me like a son.
He's a tomboy dad.
He's a tomboy dad. My dad was always encouraging for me to be rough and tough. So I naturally hung out with the boys who watched anime because my dad watched anime. So for me, my friendships mean more to me than like a few moments of satisfaction. And like I have gotten to the point in my life where I see my male friends as people that I would say I had the pleasure of watching them evolve. So for you guys, like I think like sitting back, like from the back, I was like, when I saw him find you, I was like, okay, so my job is done as a female friend. Like it is my time to just chill and let you do what sometimes female friends do for men, and not in a sexual way, just like, hey, let me make sure you're good before you walk out the house.
A feminine perspective.
Yeah, like, hey, are you like good mentally? Like as much as I still check in, but now I got to see someone else take, I won't say a burden, but I got to take that like little step away from me. Right. And I get to sit back and just enjoy the fruits of that relationship.
Okay,
as a
friend.
Yeah. I get to see like your love of, oh my God.
What are they listening to in there?
That was so good until you got interrupted.
What the fuck was that?
They're blowing me off. That's like the episode of SpongeBob where they're in the box. And then you open the box and sandwiches in there. Wait, the avalanche.
I'm not gonna make you. I already cut off my
I can't.
And they're just looking up like, what are you doing?
My favorite, imagination.
Oh my God.
The best part was when he was being chased by the cops.
Don't do it.
Like, what are y'all going through?
Side note, SpongeBob is the greatest thing that they ever invented because it was free in our head.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Hashtag, were you born in 1995 or?
It's still like sitting in the box, and the box is like much bigger than what they are because they're like this. Yes.
It's the quietness afterwards, or when they close their eyes when Squidward's in the box.
And he's like, what the fuck is this? This is what y'all been doing the whole time. Are you serious?
They did him so dirty though at the end. But he's like, I hear it. It's happening. And they're like, it was just
being taken away by the dumpster. It's happening, alright.
All right.
Anyway,
so
back to.
Oh yeah. So yeah. What about you, gentlemen?
So I have more as close friends. It's mostly guys. Aside from these two right here, it's guys. So
shut up, cuz.
Yeah. Now these two, I value my friendship with them. Like this is my oldest friend. This is one of my best friends right here. And as you see, even well into my marriage, I've still maintained my friendship with these two because I value the friendship with them. And I appreciate the time put into it, but also I appreciate the way that we've been able to grow together. I appreciate seeing us mature together. And you know, I just, it's an addition to my life that I value.
To piggyback off of that, I think it's important too that when you're in, what is the word? The friendships with yes, no, but like man and woman relationships, like friendships. No.
Opposite gender?
No, like what are we talking about right now? Opposite gender friendships?
No, y'all nailed it.
I feel like we're playing
Y'all nailed it.
No,
I guess an important part of having platonic relationships with the opposite sex, that's what I was going to say, is respecting the relationship, right?
Oh yeah, so like, know your place.
So like, I've had friends where they have a partner and like we get along really well and it works out great. There are some women or men that come into the relationship and like, you cannot be friends with that person, you cannot be friends with that person, you cannot be friends with that person, you cannot be friends with that person.
Yeah.
And so you have to decide whether or not you're willing to sacrifice that relationship or that friendship.
I'll tell you though, I will never fight for it. If your woman feels that insecure around me and it's causing you issues, I am not going to step, because that is, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to say pick me or pick your girlfriend. Now, if it came to a situation,
well, let me say this, because I think it's important. Have opposite sex friends. Mm-hmm. Boundaries are important.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, and this is me personally, I won't ever step back from that, because if there's anything that I can see is a risk or potentially going to harm you, if I see that there are times where that can be insecurities, and there are times where that's like, that's a real problem.
Right.
And you have to know your partner, and your partner also has to know themselves with that friendship, because a lot of people mask feelings under a friendship and think like, we're just friends. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But if you get stuck in a situation, would you be able to get yourself out?
Right.
If it's just you and homegirl locked in the room for 12 hours, would you be able to get... But it's the boundaries that are set, because it's whether a friendship... When somebody steps into a relationship, I think there is a part, not saying don't downplay a friendship, but know what your partner... like you said, respecting the role of that friendship, but also respecting the boundaries that are in place to protect the relationship that you want to have.
Right.
Because I don't feel like your partner should ever feel threatened by any type of friendship. And sometimes they can put that on themselves, and sometimes it can be a real thing. And I think that's just a little bit more digging that's in between the conversation of the relationship. But boundaries are absolutely 110% in friendships and in a relationship important to have, to know. And I think it's also important to have a communication about that, because if people, I think sometimes we get scared to communicate like, hey, is there anything here? Before I even start to jump to assumptions, is there anything that you feel for this friend that you say is your best friend? Well, let's be honest.
Yeah. But that other person has to be honest.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so if I ask, that's not me being threatened. That's me picking up on vibes, and I'm like, you got to be honest with this.
You're communicating.
Yeah. And a lot of people think that is they take that offensively, because it's like, oh, I would never. And it's like, okay, well, that's sign number one. Right. But two, why can't we have an open line of communication? Because if it's nothing, or if there is something, then we can talk through that.
Right.
But that's where I say boundaries get set into place, because when it's just like that's a no talk zone, that's a red flag to me.
Yeah.
When it's like you can't talk on the friendship, you can't talk on anything. That's a red flag.
Like, yeah.
So
and that's the thing too, is like I make it a point that obviously like y'all are married and I already knew you, so that's quite different. But like with friends that I've had for a long time, and then they start to introduce a partner into the relationship, I try to be Now, of course, at the very very beginning, it's like, what are your intentions with my friend? And that's
let me grill you,
right? And that's just because that's the type of person I am. Now, if you're intimidated by that, that's a red flag to me as a friend, because I'm just trying to make sure that
that's a protectiveness
right. And so some people choose to invite themselves into that, and some people choose to be like defensive about that. And so my very, 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 very close friend from college, he had a girlfriend that she did not like me from the jump, from the very jump, because I was like that with her. And she took it as like, oh, like she wants you, she's trying to push me away.
I want to make sure.
Honey.
I'm trying to make
sure you're a good fit. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that you're a good fit for him. And I've never had that issue with anybody before. But I try to go out of my way to create that bond with that person.
Now let me ask you this question, Nicolle. Do you think, and this is just us do you think that's your place to grill a person?
It depends on the situation.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily like grilling them, like pulling them aside.
No,
being
yeah.
like, you know, but like we're all sitting around and like I just want to see like how I want to observe you, right? And so if I'm normally like giddy, and then I'm like kind of quiet, it's because I want to see how you interact with everybody. Mm-hmm. Overall, my goal is to be your friend, is to make sure that you feel welcomed into the group. Right. But I also want to know that like you fit in well with the group.
Right. Okay.
And it's important too because some people come into relationships with a purpose that isn't a good intention.
That's very true.
And so sometimes your friends have to see things because you're looking at people with rose-colored glasses. Yeah. And so men are looking with rose-colored glasses when they first meet somebody.
I will tell you, I have been in a situation, an awkward situation, where I have witnessed the booty call who like wants to be more. And like take my, and like, you know, everyone has that like person that, you know, bring around your friend every now and then, but like it was just like, you know, on the side. And like me be that friend who's like, hi, how you doing? And immediately get back like, so why are you here? Who are you?
See, I don't like that.
And
that is what I don't like. Everybody else, I'm like, oh my gosh. But when you come with that energy, I'm going to give it back to you.
Yeah, off bat.
And it's almost like, and I understand some people believe that the only person that you need in your life is your partner. That is so false because I can, in the most sweetest ways, you cannot give me everything that I need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as I don't think that burden should be on one person because other people feel different aspects of your life. Sometimes you need that person who's going to be I'm going to pick up the drunk. You know, I'm gonna
Rashad.
pick up I'm gonna pick the person up who's drunk. I'm gonna hold your hair back. I'm gonna make sure you get home safely. That everyone needs someone in their life like that. So there's different versions of that, and sometimes it's not a female, sometimes it's a male. So for people who are like, oh, I only want my significant other to go out with all their female friends. It's kind of like crazy to me because, you know, everyone plays a part of your life differently. And like when you're limiting your partner to people you just want or people you feel, then let me tell you, girls cheat with girls too. So just because you're a girl,
wow.
But I'm saying, like, if you're like to think that like your girlfriend's not gonna cheat on you because she's with females, is bull.
Yeah,
like it's bull. Is she gonna cheat? She gonna cheat. Mm-hmm. So limiting your partner to just one person or just one gender is absolutely insane. Yeah. And it's like, that is not a boundary in a sense. That is a demand that is on you.
Yeah. I remember before we got married and I was sitting down and having a talk with a family friend, and they were basically saying that when you come into agreement for a marriage, your marriage is a priority.
Oh, absolutely.
Your marriage is over friendships. Your marriage is over children. Your marriage is over... The only thing that comes before your marriage is God. And when you set that in place and you make that promise and that commitment to others, it does shift friendships, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to even allow yourself to be put in a situation where you can be accused for doing something that could threaten your marriage. Mm-hmm. And when they said that, I was like, well, and they're like, no, like there's times where you can't be that same person that you were in your singleness. Mm-hmm. And you have to say that you're okay to die to that part of yourself because it does change. And some partners are very open. Some people like the fact that you roam with men and women and do what you want to do. But there are a lot of people who also have that like shift in what the priority is. So for myself, I'm not going to go hang out with a guy in a restaurant and have a 10-hour conversation, because knowing how the female's mental works and how I work, when there is an intimacy that is a bond between one person and another, I know that that can create thoughts and a fantasy of like, where could this possibly go? And not saying you act on that in the moment, but if we're being honest, a lot can come from one thought. a lot, and then from there you start to spiral. So if you're not careful, we think that we have so much control over a situation until we no longer have control. And that's what they were saying, is you think you got it, and then it's just one little slip, and now you're down like an avalanche because you thought that you could handle it all. And sometimes you bite off way too much more than you can chew. And I was just like, oh. And that kind of sat with me, because you think when you go into a marriage, it can be the same. And a lot has shifted for us since we've been married. And that's just me being honest. Like I've had to set things in place for boundaries. He doesn't set boundaries as much.
Yes, he has.
No, he's a free spirit.
Well,
no, he's a free spirit.
You are a free spirit. Never mind.
He's a free, there's not much that he's not open to.
I try to help you.
And that's who he is as a person. But if we want our marriage to be successful, you can't be completely free, and I can't be completely boxed. It has to be some type of point where we can say, this works for us if we want us to work.
Right.
There needs to be, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
There needs to be a level of selfishness. I like to make that joke. I like to make this joke with my students all the time. And I'll actually flip on both sides of the coin. I'll say, you need to be more selfish. You need to think about yourself. You need to think about, as a kickboxing instructor, I'll say you need to think about your consciousness. You need to think about your brain cells, like your brain cells. Like you need to think about protecting your face. And then I'll flip the script. And whenever they're too busy thinking about, it's like, oh yeah, my face is safe, but like the other person's, I'll be like, yeah, you need to think about the other person. You need to think about where the other person is going to put their head, where the other person is going to put their hands as a kickboxing instructor. And I'll recognize like, oh, your hands are up. Oh, I'm going for the body, you know?
Yeah.
I'll recognize that, oh, you're doing something. Well, I'm going to do the thing to fuck you up, since that's my prerogative as a martial artist fighting another person. If we're talking about friendships, I need to be aware of, like, one, me in a relationship, these are my boundaries.
Absolutely.
This is where I have to place my family, and my family comes first, and all that other stuff, regardless of who is on the other end of that other stuff, be that other family members, be that other friends, be that work, be that school, be that whatever. You got to understand how selfish you can be, how selfish you will allow yourself to be.
Right.
And then take yourself out of that moment. You know, recognize, okay, that's me. Yeah. That's me 2 seconds ago, a minute ago, a week ago, a year ago, whatever. Yeah. That's what I was doing. Okay. I don't like that, or I do like that. I do like where I am, so I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to do everything I can to protect that.
Right. And I think that's where it becomes big, is when you decide to, which is why I think more effort goes into relationships than friendships. And because of that sole reason alone, I think there is a different type of standard that's held for relationships versus friendships. So when someone looks at me and they say, hey, it's your husband or them, my husband.
Absolutely.
I'm not thinking about that. I don't know why people feel like it's threatened when someone's like, hey, you got to choose your girl or your friend. And it's because when you say, I'm saying, and I can only speak for a marriage because that's where I am now. If someone were to ever come to me and say, I have to either lose my husband or lose a friend, I'm losing the friend.
Without question. Yeah.
And that's without thought. I don't care how long you were. If I went before God and said, I do, and I told my husband, I'm staying in this till death do us part, how am I going to keep somebody along that's not respecting that, or that may cause issues in said relationship?
A real friend won't, though.
A real friend will never
expect you to, or expect their position as a friend to be like, oh, it's either me as your friend or your husband or your wife. Mm-hmm. Not going to happen, because everyone who's a real friend understands that things change. Mm-hmm. Right. Like, and sometimes things change for your benefit. Like, your relationship ended up being my benefit in a weird way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, you got a whole man.
Like, pictures and everything.
Like, I want to say, like, you're stepping up into his life, you creating his, like, home and stuff like that, allowed me to find someone, allowed me to find my own, like, per se, home. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's realistically, it just sometimes works in your benefit to watch your friend shine. Yeah. And then, I don't want to say karma, goodwill, God, sometimes it ends up being what you gave in that friendship. It may feel like you lost because they have a partner, but you really gain in other areas of your life. It doesn't always happen like that, but a lot of times, if you are good to someone, all that comes back to you in a circle. That. So friendships, I always say, the real saying is like, not what you know, it's who you know. But with your friends, it really is sometimes about who you know. Because your friends can change your view of life, can help your life, can hinder your life. But they can also lead you to a better place, like, all around. It's like, I'm not saying, like, you know, I was living my best life. When you guys were engaged, I got to have this summer.
You was having fun.
I was having fun.
Let's just say
summer.
That.
It was my summer.
You was having fun that
I was growing out my natural hair. I had lost weight. But, like, it ended up being a really good thing that, like, after the summer, come fall.
And then she met this guy.
To be fair, I had met him.
Right now.
Yeah, I had met him before. When you guys first...
It wasn't time, though.
It wasn't time. I was wearing that
right?
gray ponytail. It was not time. I had a gray ponytail.
Now, let me ask, how do you guys go about outgrowing friends? How do you know that you've outgrown them, and when is it time to
leave?
Yes.
Priorities. Like, just to put it simply, what I do on a day-to-day basis. And not to put it in like a mean way, but, like, if those friends are no longer in your day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, it is what it is. Yeah. You know, it's not that I don't have love, that you don't have love for those friends, because there's always going to be friends that you see posts on Instagram every day. Right. You know, there's always going to be friends that you see sharing memes on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever. But, like, they're not in my regular rotation. Right. Like, I don't see them.
Like the associates.
Exactly. I don't see them every day between classes, like in high school anymore, because we're not in high school. This is a different part of our lives. So it's really, if you as the individual, this goes back to be more selfish or be less selfish. You know, if you as the individual, you can recognize what you need, you can recognize your selfishness, and that doesn't necessarily require that individual. Right. Hey, you know, it's not that you don't love that individual anymore. It could be that individual lives 3 states away. Yeah. You know, it could very well be that individual, you know, they have a different work schedule than you. You know, they have to work the night shift, and you have to be asleep at nights because you got to work at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning. So truly, it's priorities. You know, you look at I love philosophy, and I love Joseph Campbell and The Hero's Journey. You know, the hero of 1,000 faces. And after one stage of life, you know, this is something that's replicable across cultures. You know, after one stage of life, you move into the next. Once you leave the world of the known, you move into the world of the unknown, and your unknown world is going to be different than someone else's. Yeah. Ben's unknown world was military. I don't know shit about the military.
Save Ben, because I'm gonna reference him.
Okay. Then my friend Michael Hahn, who moved to.
Michael, that's Ben's first name.
Listen, get out of here.
That is hilarious.
I just got Ben on the brain. But yeah, my friend Michael Hahn, he moved to Portland, Oregon, the other corner of America. Yeah. Him and his girlfriend Haley, and now they're married. I still got love for Michael. Whenever he was in Florida, he came over to the apartment. He met my child. I still got love for Michael, but he is not a part of my regular rotation. He is no longer on social media. If I text that man, it's going to be, you know, it's like, hey, you remember whenever we went to Arizona for that one time?
It's not a lot to relate to now,
and it's a lot of nostalgia. It's a lot of, hey, you were my friend when I needed you for this period of my life. Again, going back to being selfish and being selfless, or, you know, stop being so selfish. But I got to understand those boundaries. Absolutely. You know, I have to understand that at the end of the day, I and everything that I include in my life, I include as a part of me, I am the one who requires the most amount of effort. If you're not going to, there's an old proverb that says, I alone am the honorable one. And in that culture, honor just means to put effort into oneself, or to put effort into something. If you're going to honor your parents, if you're going to honor your family, you're going to put effort into them. I am the most honorable.
Yeah.
I deserve the most effort, going back to being selfish and selfless. And if I have different priorities in this stage of my life, and that it is what it is. You know, that's my family. I am the most honorable, and whoever is involved in my life outside of that moment, or not even outside of that moment, but whoever's involved in my life, listen, you're as involved as I, the most honorable one, the one who has to exist in this life, the one who brought a family into my life. Yeah. You are as important or as unimportant as I need you to be.
Absolutely. And I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that should be able to be done with no bad blood, because it's not saying that I don't value you as a person. But like you said, there comes a point in life where we don't fit the same puzzle piece like we used to. Like we're on different, like you're a corner piece and I'm a centerpiece right now.
Right.
And you are a piece of my picture.
Right.
But you no longer connect to this piece that I'm building. And that's okay. You know? And I think when we try to hold on too much, too tightly to too many different people and too many different things, we lose so much of who we are because we are stretched thin. It's like, right. It's like when Spider-Man is just like stretched out like this. And he's like, hey, yo. And it's like, because I'm pulled every which way, how do I give anything to myself and anything to the relationships and friendships that truly are pouring into me at the moment? I actually spoke with someone and they were saying that the main piece, when you're thinking of yourself as like a Coke bottle, right? Your contents, what's inside is what people either marry, what people either come into a friendship for, what people either make a business partner in, and that it's the content that's inside the bottle. It's not the bottle. And what should be in that bottle is what you've put in there yourself.
Substance.
It should not be what people are pouring into you. It should be, I'm good on my own, and with or without you, my content is still here. I'm still the same valuable person that I am with or without you. And yes, you add to me, but that's all it should be, is overflow. They should not be able to lower your content. Like if they leave, your bottle should not be half empty.
Right. That's a learned thing though. Because I'll tell you, grieving friendships.
Absolutely a learned thing.
Grieving friendships is a very difficult thing to go through.
It's a real thing too.
Especially when they're alive. And like, that's the worst. It's the like, such to say, but sometimes when there's finality with things, it's easier. But when there's like an open door, or like one of the hardest things is seeing people that you've loved so much, you've shared experiences, they've been there, and you watch them from afar on social media, and it's just like, okay, like what do I do now? Like you're hurt, and like it's a learned thing to like be confident in yourself. Like, oh yeah, I am good, and like things happen, and it's a cycle, and it's all fine. But I think that's something you don't learn until you're older, because you're not gonna get that like early 20s. I don't even think you really get it until like end of 20s, 30s.
I don't know. And I think I tell people this all the time. I matured very early.
You had a baby early.
You did too.
But I understand. That's what I'm saying.
But that's
you have to bust back. Like,
no. I have a point. I have a point to this though. I think the baby is not what makes you mature. Because I could have very easily still been very immature with having my child, especially because I lived with my parents and they cared for my daughter in a way that I could have been wilding out if I wanted to. But I was intentional from that moment, because I saw that my dream for going to school, I saw that my entire life just made a complete 180. And I, from that point at 18, 19, decided that I'm not dating for fun. I don't need to be sleeping with 10,000 men. I'm not going to sit here and pour my energy into people who don't pour back into me. And I was very intentional about who I came into connection with.
You have an example to set.
Absolutely.
Yes. It's a different playing field when you have kids.
I think so many people put the emphasis on the child, though. It's not the child that makes someone grows up.
No.
It's the person themselves. Because I think we have different journeys. And even though we had a child around the same age, I don't think we have the same story. Because you did something one way and I did something a completely different way, even though we both had a child. That doesn't dictate the future or the road that someone's about to go down.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful. It is beautiful because in a way that we still get to write our story. And I wanted my story to still end beautiful, you know? And I'm not saying it was perfect because I went through a really big depression after having my child. But I was, from that point on, intentional. Even if I decided to have a fling, that fling was intentional. Like, I knew I was going into this to have fun. And when it was ended, it was done. So everything I did, you want the fling?
You were not a smart replacement.
I'm not talking.
Oh my gosh, you're so dramatic.
That's not what I was talking about either.
That's not what we're talking about
okay.
at all right this second.
Anyway.
Yeah, but I'm saying that to say that when I think the biggest thing is being intentional with everything that we do. And that's with friendships. If you decide to maintain a friendship that's been going for, how old are you guys now? 20.
That's like
25
years. I'm about to turn 29 in 2 years.
I'm like, that's like 25 years. So it takes, once again, it takes intention to keep that friendship. That just didn't happen because, we changed diapers together in a daycare. No, that was intention behind a friendship. And that's beautiful. But I think that's where it comes from I think now, even how you're saying it's a learned thing, I think it became an intentional thing for you. You always knew what you needed to do. You just actually implied what needed to be done. So you became intentional with you. It's like me. Like, I know that I want to go fold my laundry.
Am I going to do it right now?
It's a pile of laundry sitting on my floor, and I know what needs to be done. I know how to grab I know how to grab a hanger and put it on, but my intentions are not there, you know? And I think that's why this word for me is so huge, especially with this podcast, is I want people to start being intentional with anything that they do, because that's when you start to create the life that you want and love, rather than just feeling like I have no clue where I'm at. And that's with friendships that you've outgrown. That's with friendships that you make and friendships that you maintain. Have people around you that are adding to you, pouring into you, and you can reciprocate that. I'm saying it like you did.
See, I am lucky. I always say my village is what saved me with my child.
Yeah,
my village. I have the most amazing village. Like, I don't have a lot of family in Florida, but my child does not know what it's like not to have multiple cousins. And everyone in my child's life is there for a purpose and a reason. And I strategically put people in my child's life who I knew if something was to happen to me, they would raise her in a way that I would want her to see the world. I would want her to still see the light. Like for Rashad, for example, him being her godfather. If something was to happen to me, I know that she would still see the light and the community of your light through her. And Kiki, as her godmother, I would know she would have a faith-based, even though I don't practice as hard as she does now, I know my child will be. I always say to her, like, your family's prayers are right there. Like, there's saints, and then there's her family's prayers. Like, they're her family's prayers. So
those are the ones that are really raining over you. And doing the work. Those that are doing
They said, know your place.
I like whenever
they're the ones that's got that little glow around them.
Listen, whenever it's serious,
right?
No, whenever it's serious, when it's sick, when it's bad, I know who to call, because I know they a little bit like God has a direct line to them.
Right. And that's the thing too, is like you have to have friends that can go in those next levels with you.
Absolutely.
Right? Even if they're not going through the same thing.
But not all friends go with you to that next
yes,
level.
and that's what we were talking about the next day. That's what we were talking about the other day, right? Is like, friends are, sometimes you got to leave them where they're at.
Woo.
And there are some people that are supposed to go with you.
Absolutely.
There are some people.
Painful though. I'm
and
it's
hard, right?
It is so hard.
But the thing is, here's the thing though. Listen. The thing is, you think that you're going to the next level with them, but you're not. And I'm speaking about God because that's what I believe in. You think you're in that next dimension or that next level. What happened?
The light turned off. The ring light turned off.
Oh, okay.
Does that matter?
Okay.
No, we're
okay?
good. It's okay. So recording.
So for me, it's like you think you're there. You think you're at the place that you thought you're going to be with dragging people behind. And then once you actually let them go and you see where you truly slingshot off to and you get to, you're like, oh, you truly couldn't come. Because there's some blessings that are only for you or only for the group of people that God intends to be with. They're not for some people because their intentions aren't for that level. And we have to have the discernment to know who that is and who goes there. But if we don't know, we'll just keep trying to chug along and think we're getting to the next place. And then 10 years down the road, we realize we're still in that same little bubble because we're not getting anywhere with that friend group. Yeah. They're not pushing me anywhere. They're not challenging me. And I think that's important to have.
Yeah.
For me.
Then, right. And then on the other token, those people that do go with you, man, do they go with you.
Oh, they go with you.
And even if they're not doing the same things as you. So like, for example, like, y'all are married and y'all have kids. Mm-hmm. I am not doing that. but at the same time, I can care after your kids. Absolutely. And I can go and put them in the bed and make sure that they're okay.
Help you birth your kid.
You birth the kid, I'm just there, okay? We'll talk about that a different day. Anyway, but you know, like
the word, right?
What?
He said midwifery.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. You're doing a great job. but you know, like understanding that people are in a different place of your life and still finding a way to support them. Like most of my friends have kids, and so I don't have kids, but I'm raising kids with them.
We support kids around here. We support our friends with kids,
and we do because my mom, when she was my age, she had 2 kids.
Yeah.
And we're the same age. Y'all have 3. In my head, I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. So the least I could do is pull up and support y'all when I can. So that's like when it comes time to like making plans to do stuff, I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out this for the kids. Mm-hmm. Let's figure, you know what I mean? Like,
you're a considerate friend though, because you care enough to be considered. Not everyone is
absolutely.
Like
but guess what? The people that aren't considerate are gonna get left at that level.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? You can be with your other inconsiderate friends over there,
absolutely.
But we over here trying to make sure that everybody is good. That's why I'm not asking you to come to brunch and bring the kids. I'm telling you though, in 3 months on my birthday, I'm having brunch, and you need to find a babysitter. You have 3 months to find a babysitter because we're getting crunk.
Yeah. You say crunk?
Crunk.
Yes.
What that mean?
We crunk.
We ain't for real. What you mean? My birthday is on a Sunday next year, so we going to brunch for real.
Listen, I guess
endless
we do.
mimosas.
Listen, the misses do, so I guess we do.
Yes, it's crunk.
You say crunk?
Crunk.
We say crunk too.
Pull the lava crunk.
No.
Anyway,
that's the wrong lever crunk.
Oh. Are we doing bringing it on Hayden Penn and Cierra crunk?
Oh no. She looks like she having a fish over there.
No. She was having a
She was having a
Can we just acknowledge though that like what was they doing in that movie?
Bro,
I have never seen anyone crunk in real life except for Chris Brown.
And that one guy, so you think you can dance?
So you think you can dance? That's very true. Or Stomp Father.
Oh, yes,
I don't remember his name.
Yes, I know you're
Are we talking
No.
The one of them.
But the one that was like
him?
Yeah, him. Exactly.
Yeah, that was him.
You saw him?
I'm so upset. This whole conversation.
Anyway, so
I didn't know we were going somewhere with this.
I said it like, what are we talking about?
It's me.
I say all that to say. I say all that to say, I feel like friendships a lot of times have to do with adaptability.
Absolutely. That is
because
dropping jokes.
I told you. So because the thing is like, you're not the same person that you were when I met you.
Absolutely.
You're not the same person that you were when I met you. Y'all weren't the same people you were when I met you. But we still have the ability to still be friends.
To adapt.
We're growing into different people.
Some people can't take change.
Right.
Some people don't know. Some people hate change because it makes them uncomfortable, because uncomfort is growth.
And you have to think too, some people are your friends, but some people are also envious of you. And so yes, I can be your friend and I can cheer you on as long as you're not doing better than me.
God. That's the one, because people love to see you doing good.
You gonna give me a drink? Thank you.
People love to see you doing good, but don't ever do better than me.
Yeah.
Because the moment you do, that's when I'm now offended and I can't support
Right,
you.
and that's crazy to me because
Then you stop seeing them like your post. Then they stop seeing you.
I thought you were gonna give me a drink. I thought you were gonna give me a drink.
She just had some shit right there.
And you walk off the camera.
Naz had to take a walk.
I had to take a walk.
And the camera.
And I had to come back to my seat.
But then you had to put your booty all up in the.
That's what I'm saying.
I have to turn to say.
Why did you get up?
Because I had to take a walk.
All right. Don't get loud. The kids are sleeping. So
what I was going to say, as a matter of fact,
I mean, a few of them are.
What I was going to say was
the boys are asleep. The girls are awake.
What I was going to say was, damn, I remember when she says the exact same sentence to me once upon a time. When I was doing my music thing, I had a boy, and she was like, yo, I don't get good vibes from him. He doesn't have your best interests at heart, to be honest with you. And honestly, when she said it, I wrote a song about it type shit. I was like, yo.
K?
Nah, not K.
No.
It's on a...
K was lit. If y'all haven't listened to K, y'all gotta listen to K.
Not K.
We support our friends in this way.
No. It's on the album that I
favorites.
did in its entirety and it's never released. It's the intro track on there, actually. Nah, y'all will never hear that album.
Yeah.
Y'all will never hear that.
Listen to K.
Yeah.
Listen to K.
K
But
by
no,
R.
Isaac told you, listen to K.
By Rashad.
K.
By Rashad.
K.
K. Listen
But
to
no,
K.
I,
by Rashad.
No, I wrote a song about it, and I was like, "Yo, she's absolutely right." Because like when you start watching them for real, it's, I know what I said in the song. I know what I said.
I was there. I wrote it. I sang it.
No, when you start watching them for real, like objectively, it's like, damn, yo, he was right next to me, and he made it real. It was fake type shit.
That's how
like,
snakes move.
And
you can't ever tell snakes. That's why, like, I always think of, and snakes can be, not all of them are detrimental to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you
I don't
think,
like them though.
I don't like them. I don't like snakes at all. But there's some that's poisonous and could kill you with one bite, and there's some that can live in your garden and still not be helpful, but they're not hurting you.
Yeah.
But the one thing that makes it different is the stripes on its backs. And you have to look very closely to know if it's yellow on black or red on black. And that's the only way that you can know if it'll kill you. But if your eye is not keen to know those differences, you'll get bit and be dead the next week because you don't know who's in your circle. And that's why discernment is huge. Or at least having people in your circle who can be like, hey, yo, check that. And then there's times where people in your circle say, hey, yo, check that. And you just like, nah. I'm good. They can stay.
And then you fuck around and get bit.
And then you learn the hard way, and I'm not even going to say I told you so. I'm going to be sitting here and be like... And
just kind of feeling bad for you type shit, because I told you.
I ain't even going to feel bad. I'm going to be sitting here not wasting my energy, because I gave you my energy to tell you that person don't have your best interest. Y'all ain't going to get where you think you about to go.
Right.
I'm soft. I'm still going to feel bad, but like... Also,
I ain't that soft.
Also, I told you so.
Yeah, I did tell you so. But I think that what you said is huge. Those people want you to do good. They'll like your post, but the moment you go viral, they done.
Right.
And that's just me putting it in the analogy form. Like, they'll be like, oh, wait, hold on. C got 50,000 views. And like, nah, dog. Can't share that. Can't post that. And it's real life because people start moving different when success for you is no longer linked to them.
That's just so weird. Maybe it's just because I am a supportive person of everyone, and I want all my friends to shine.
And you're a beautiful being for that.
Well, I try to, because I understand that, like, there's room for all of us to make money. My lane is not necessarily your lane. Mm-hmm. So, like, to me, maybe that's where my fault coming, like, where my shortcoming is. I personally don't see how you can't cheer on success.
Can I say something to what you just said about lanes?
What?
Because so many times people think you got to be in your own lane.
No.
Listen to this, though.
But what if you in the same car?
Wait. Listen to this, though. Even when you're driving on a one street lane, right? There's multiple cars in that lane, and you're still going to arrive to your destination.
Yeah.
Someone else being in front of you or someone else being behind you does not stop you from you getting to where you're supposed to be.
At all.
So many people think, like, it's all these different lanes. That's like, even if I'm a cosmetologist and you're a cosmetologist and you're doing better, I'm still going to get to where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
I'm not going to hate on you. I'm going to learn from you.
If you're smart, you're going to be like, listen.
Oh, you just hit on your brakes. Let me hit on my brakes a little bit. Hold on.
Or not just that, but, like, ask questions. Like, how did you do that? Like, simple stuff. Like, it's not necessary.
It's not all bad blood.
It's not all competition. Like, it is competition.
Oh, it is competition.
It is competition, but when you look at it from a collaborative standpoint, you get further.
Right.
Friendship is everything.
Friendship is everything. Friendship is important in relationship. Friendship is important just platonically, if that's a word.
Yes.
And
yes, it's a word.
It's an adjective.
Okay, I was just making sure I said it correctly.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, you nailed it.
You got it right.
Platonically.
You go.
Yay! So I just wanted to say to you guys, to my friends, because it is really late right now, but thank you for having this conversation with me. I think it's really important because it's hard for us in our mid to late 20s, early 30s to know how to make friends and to know that we're not the only ones struggling. To know that maintaining friendships is more most of our effort goes, because the ones that hold value are the ones that we want to continue to pour into. And I think when it's time, when it's necessary, we do receive those friends that are new friends and that are long-lasting friends, or sometimes seasonal friends that can keep going with us in life. So thank you guys for joining the Wisdumb Podcast. I hope we were able to help you guys out in the audience to know that you're not alone, but be intentional about everything that you do, about the friends you choose, about the relationships you enter. And when it's time to remove people or add people to your life, just do it with complete intention behind everything. And it kind of works out for your good. So with that being said,
it's so proud of you.
Yes, you're doing
great. Thank you.
Sorry, just that cutting.
See my friends, guys. They're always supportive.
Be supportive, Brian. Be supportive of your friends.
Yes, they do.
Be supportive.
We'll see y'all next week. Bye.